Story time about how I got targeted by the new girl in high school. So we're going all the way back to year 9 for this story, okay? So this new girl comes to the school. I had no idea, but she was in my Spanish and I was like, I don't recognize you from here. And it was way through the year, so it wasn't like she'd already been there and I just didn't notice her because she's from a different class. She was new to the school. So my table was here and I sat on this chair. Her table was there, she sat on this chair. So I turned to her and was like, oh, hi, I'm Ellie, who are you? We're gonna call her Maria, okay? In the bitchiest way possible, this girl went, I'm Maria. Okay, calm down, thank you. Based off that interaction, I was like, she doesn't like me for some reason, so okay. She was really pretty and blonde, the stereotypical pretty girl, so she got invited into the popular friend group. I thought nothing of the interaction, okay, I was like, bit weird, but alright, carried on with my day until lunchtime. I'm peacefully minding my business, walking around school, and I've had multiple people come up to me going, the new girl wants to fight you. The new girl is running around trying to find you, she said she wants to fight you. I'm like, this bitch has been here a day, what did I do? What did I do? I left her to it. I was like, okay, that's weird, whatever. Until about 30 or more people had come up to me throughout the space of 10 minutes to tell me that this girl is looking for me. In year 9, I was a bitch, okay? I was feral. If you looked at me in year 9 and gave me a dirty look, I'd have a go at you. If you spoke about me, I'd come up to you and have a go at you and ask you myself. Say it to my face if you're gonna say it. And I did get into my fair share of fights. But I wasn't one of those people that did just run around and give you shit for nothing. I always had a reason, okay? So that was my morals throughout high school. You disrespect me, I'll do it back. And that was the reason why this girl wanted to fight me, because I stood up for myself. I was like, what? One of my friends came up to me about 15 minutes before lunch was about to end and said, she's in this room and she's asking to fight you. So I was like, you know what? I'll give her what she wants. I'll go and confront her and see what she has to say. So that's exactly what I did. Me and my friends walked to the room. Now, I wasn't bringing my friends. My friends were following because they thought this is going to be fun. I swung the door open and I was like, where's Maria? Okay, I locked eyes with this bitch. I watched this girl get a physical shiver, okay? This room was full of kids in our year. It was our year room and they were everywhere. So I asked her, what's this about you wanting to fight me? If you want to fight, step outside. Come on then. Oh, you're on. Anyway, it was year 9, please. She looked at me and she just stared. She didn't say anything for like a good 5 seconds, so I was like, hello? You said you wanted to fight me. You were paraded round the school saying you are going to hit me, so do it. She was just looking at the teacher like, you gonna do something or what? She had another person sat next to her, an irrelevant person who I didn't like in school anyway, and she kept like looking at her and like giggling, laughing, but I don't see you getting up though. I don't see you throwing hands, so... And I asked her again, are you gonna do this or what? And she started pretending to back a chair up and she was like, I can't, it's stuck. Side-eyeing the teacher. So the teacher got up and was like, Ellie, get out. Ellie, get out. When you're not having a fight, get out. So I was like, speaking to my friends, like, did you all witness that? Like, what just happened? What was the necessary need for this drama? The teacher in the room called SLT on me and I got taken away. I also got a detention as if it wasn't her fault. The teachers asked me what happened and I explained. I was like, I'm not gonna get in trouble. She was the one saying all of this shit. Bearing in mind, this is this girl's first day at this school. What the fuck? I was like, there's no way on God's green earth I am gonna let this girl talk about me like that when she doesn't even know me. It was left like that. I got detention for threatening people, and eventually she ended up becoming friends with my best friends and still spoke about me to those people. Until I asked her one day, what's your problem with me? I don't know who you are and you have serious beef with me and it's very one-sided. And she was like, oh no, I don't have a problem, I don't. So I was like, whatever then, drop your beef, leave it there. And so we did drop our beef and eventually we became friends, and then she snaked me out again so we didn't become friends. And that is the story. I don't know what I did wrong to this girl. I don't know why she hated me so much, but she wanted to throw hands. Anyway, I love you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, first of all, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, scarier than a year 9 girl with a vendetta. The logic here is absolute chaos. This new girl, Maria, walks in, decides she hates Ellie based on vibes, and then the entire school mobilizes like it's the Hunger Games. I love how the storyteller admits, I was a bitch too. At least she's honest. But the scene in the classroom, the shiver, that is cinematic. It's wild how we used to operate on pure adrenaline and lack of frontal lobe development. She wanted to fight, but the moment she got confronted, the chair got stuck. Classic. It's a perfect reminder that most drama is just performance art until someone actually calls action. But you know, you'd hope that once we leave high school, people stop being delusional and weird. Unfortunately, they just get older and make dating profiles.
Okay, 2 profiles, accepted or rejected. First one, 38, male, data scientist based in the US. He's average looking in my opinion, but overall I would say slightly below average because he's 5'8" and also has thinning hair. In his note to Baji section, he wrote this. I'm going to be very direct with you because I think that is a style you appreciate. I'm looking for a beautiful girl. I don't want anything else, just someone who is naturally beautiful. To give an example, I think Emma Watson type of beauty where she doesn't wear a lot of makeup and is pretty and elegant. To be clear, I'm not saying I need her to look like Emma Watson. He put that in like asterisk. I'm okay with someone with a bachelor's with any job, and I would prefer someone in their late 20s or early 30s at the oldest, but I'm open if she meets everything else. I really would prefer someone from the US, Canada, or even other Western countries, but if it's someone exceptional from back home, I will consider her. Since this is my only requirement, I'm not willing to compromise, and I would rather not get married in that case. First of all, why does that last part sound like a threat to me? I'd rather not get married. Say that to your mom. That's fine if you don't get married. I don't think everyone has to get married. And as I'm going through these profiles, it's slowly becoming a pet peeve of mine when someone talks about wanting something that's way out of their league, but justifies it by saying that's the only thing that they want. And it's not actually true because there are actually a lot of things that this person wants. So let's go through them. So other than the fact that he wants them to be beautiful, he says that he doesn't want them to wear too much makeup. He also says that he wants someone with a bachelor's and any job. And he also has an age requirement. He wants someone who's raised in a Western country, and he also doesn't want to relocate. So that means he wants someone either local or willing to relocate to him. So this profile is obviously a rejection. I don't know of any girl who would meet these requirements and also be interested in him. It's always interesting to me when people frame their requirements as some kind of benevolence, as if they're going to pull a fast one on me. And then I actually think that, you know what? I don't know that this person's even self-aware enough to realize that their requirements are not reasonable. And that's because they seem to be holding out for this one specific thing, and they have no plans of compromising. And I think that they truly deserve this. As I always say, you can want what you want, but they also have to want you. And this has gotten a bit long, so part 2 for the second profile.
I'm going to be direct with you. Whenever a bio starts like that, run. This guy is 38, balding, slightly below average height. Her words, not mine. And he is requesting Emma Watson? Not just someone pretty, but specifically natural beauty, no makeup, established career, but also willing to relocate for him? And the threat at the end? I'd rather not get married. Sir, that is not a threat to us. That is a promise of peace for the general population. It's the lack of self-awareness that hurts. He wants a unicorn while bringing a donkey to the table. It's fascinating how the requirements list is always longest for the people who offer the least. And even when you lower your standards and just try to connect with a normal person, the apps find a new way to humble you.
I'm really trying not to crash out right now, but I'm actually really pissed. Matched with this guy on Hinge. He's really chatty, funny, playful, asked for my number. We were going to go out tomorrow night, right? Text me, hey, here's my Instagram, creep if you want to. So I look him up on Instagram. It's private, so I click follow. Go back to Hinge. Unmatched me. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like maybe because he already has my number. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see if he like accepted my follow request. Blocked on Instagram. So how is that supposed to make me feel? Like, I know I probably shouldn't be like looking into it. Like maybe he's just not interested. But I'm like, did he look at my Instagram and think I was ugly? Like, I am really having a hard time with dating. And I don't know how to like make that not about me, because that really hurt my feelings. Like, what? I just don't understand these freaking men. I am so over this. Like, I don't want to be doing this. And I know this is how you find people, but like, at what cost?
Oh, this stings. This is a specific kind of modern pain. You match, the vibe is good, you move to Instagram, and then poof, blocked. It's brutal because it leaves you with only one conclusion. He saw more photos of me and decided I was ugly. That's the only place your brain goes. It's so dehumanizing. You're not a person, you're a thumbnail. And the speed of it, it's like window shopping, picking up a shirt, looking at the price tag and throwing it on the floor. I just want to hug her. It's not about you, girl. It's about the gamification of human beings. But at least that guy disappeared before the dates. What's worse is when they fake a whole future before pulling the plug.
I've been ghosted after going on 3 dates with someone, so let's talk about it. Might I just add that this man is 32 years old. Let me give you a bit of a backstory. So I matched with this guy on Hinge in, I think it was November, and it was a couple of weeks before we were both free, but we went on a first date at the end of November. We live about an hour away from each other. He lives like in London and I live just outside, but so it wasn't anything too bad. I go into London all the time, so it was fine. So we met halfway on this first date. Went really, really well. Now, I should say he was not a good texter from the beginning, and I don't know why I was making excuses for him. But I kind of didn't think too much of that, obviously, after we'd only been on one date, because, you know, we don't need to text all the time. But anyway, he asked to see me again. He asked me on a second date, and this time he came to my area. So that was nice. Like, we went out for dinner and some drinks. That was really fun. After our second date, he still was absolutely useless at texting me. Like, I mean, genuinely, over a week would go by and I just wouldn't hear from him. He just he'd start talking to me about something and then I would reply and a week would go by without him replying. I think as well, this was now getting like closer to Christmas and I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt like an idiot. But anyway, long story short, eventually we decided we were going on a third date. So for context, the third date, I went to his area, which was fine. He'd come to mine, blah, 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 blah. He said, let's go for a roast. It was a Sunday. So he was like, let's do something a bit more wholesome. I was like, great. So we went for a roast, really, really nice, like wholesome vibes. And then we had a few drinks. Really, really, really lovely. Strolling down hand in hand. He's talking to me about what we're going to do on our 4th and 5th date. He's talking to me about stuff we could do next Christmas. So anyway, walks me back to the station. He's like, have a good Christmas. He was going home for Christmas and then away for New Year's Eve. I hope if he sees this, I'm going to die because he'll know immediately I'm talking about him, but whatever. So he was like, in January, we'll go on another date. Great. And he was like, I'll speak to you before then. Okay. I was thinking, right, but have a great Christmas, whatever. So that was the Monday before Christmas. And I think Christmas was the Wednesday or Thursday. I can't actually remember. Didn't hear from him until Christmas Day. So this is what I'm saying. Didn't think anything of it at that point because that's kind of how we'd been communicating the whole time. And obviously it was right before Christmas. I was doing stuff. That was absolutely fine. So Christmas Day rolls around and he messaged me Merry Christmas first, which I thought was really nice. And we had a really nice chat on Christmas Day. And then I sent the last message, which he love-hearted reacted to. Never heard from the guy again. Like, to me, it's just baffling behaviour. Like, if you didn't want to see me after the third date, why are you messaging me Merry Christmas? Why are we having a conversation on Christmas Day? At this point, I really, really don't care. I think he's, like, all over the place. But it's just baffling to me. It's like the stuff he was saying to me on our third date was full on. And then you're going to ghost me. It's the ghosting that I can't wrap my head around at your big age. Just send me a simple message. It could literally just be, hey, sorry for the silence, blah, blah, blah. Whatever reason, I don't want to see you again. Absolutely fine. But to go on the dates that we went on and then ghost me is bizarre behaviour. I feel like this is just the problem with dating at the moment, is ghosting culture is just out of control and it's not acceptable. So cowardly and just so embarrassing. I think looking back, I was being really naive and I think he was dating a lot of people. I'm sure he just met someone he liked more, which is literally fine. Obviously that will sting for a couple of days, but you know, that's life. So just have the balls to say that to me. I think I definitely learnt a lot from this situation, so no regrets. I was ignoring red flags early on, which is the story of my life. But yeah, I think this has just really opened my eyes to, you just can't believe a word people say, basically, and you'll have 3 really good full-on dates with someone and then they'll ghost you out of the blue. So yeah, on to the next.
This is psychopathic behavior. I'm sorry, but if you go on 3 dates, hold hands, talk about next Christmas, and wish someone Merry Christmas, you do not get to ghost. You just don't. That is a violation of the social contract. The Merry Christmas text is what makes this evil. Why keep a door open just to slam it shut? It's cowardly. At 32 years old, you should have the vocabulary to say, hey, I'm not feeling it. We need to stop normalizing ghosting as just part of the culture. It's emotional cruelty, plain and simple. And speaking of cruelty, sometimes the person stays, but their reasons for staying are even darker than ghosting.
We need to stop telling Asian girls that we're winning at dating. I think that most Asian girls I know, myself included, have all encountered a similar experience where a guy that we're seeing is not actually in love with us. They're in love with the image, the stereotype, the visualization that they have of us as an Asian woman. I deeply traumatized myself in my early 20s by pretty much not knowing how to spot red flags and dating guys that just really had an Asian fetish. And they'd always want to do like the same things with me, which was like watch anime. And I just thought at the time that it was cultural appreciation. And until you felt that shift in your gut where you do enough due diligence and see just how many Asian ex-girlfriends a guy you've been dating has, or taking a look at their Instagram following, you have no idea how dehumanizing it is to see that the person that you're with really could just be with you because you're Asian. That's why I always ask, have you ever been with an Asian? And that's a preliminary on dates, because there's a massive difference between having a preference and having a fetish. And I think most men use the word preference to shield their objectification. A preference is being attracted to someone as a whole human, and a fetish is just being attracted to someone as a part of a category. Growing up, I had literally zero male attention from anyone of my peers at school. I never got asked out. The people that did approach me and did want to talk to me were all men that were much older while I was still a child. And at the time, I was so flattered because I was desperate for validation. You so easily can conflate attention for genuine care and appreciation. And we're so hungry to be seen that we don't even realize we're being hunted. The first few guys I dated were all weeaboos, and I didn't even fully recognize at the time what that was. I just thought, why does everyone that wants to date me somehow have such an interest in anime? But the real breaking point was when I developed an actual connection with this guy when I was living in New York. And he was a former English teacher in Korea, which, if you know, you know. A lot of these guys that go to teach English in Asia, they're doing so to be in proximity to other Asian women. So I was developing a really deep connection with this guy. He was nerdy, he was cute, but every single date we ever went on was Korean themed. We only could go to Korean restaurants, Korean bars in K-Town. We could only watch Korean movies. We went to all of these different events and there were only other Koreans around. He was obviously obsessed with the culture, and I kind of thought at the beginning that that was kind of cute, and he would always ask me to speak in Korean. But eventually the mask slipped when we were at this really famous Korean barbecue restaurant. There's a Middle Eastern family that's sitting next to us, and the mother has on a hijab, a headscarf, and he turns to me and says, "Oh, I can't believe that we have a family like that sitting next to us." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, because she's wearing the whole thing, and it's like, it makes this restaurant experience feel a lot less authentic. After that, I was so horrified and disgusted by what he said. I didn't just stop talking to him. I stopped talking to men, and I became celibate for 4 years. It honestly was the best decision that I could have made for myself at the time. And it allowed me to do the work of spending time by myself and figuring out who I was without the male gaze. Now, this was easier because it was during COVID, so I was fully in hermit mode. I call it my asexual hoodie era because I think I just wore the same hoodie for 3 years and like didn't leave my house. But I deprogrammed this idea that being wanted is not the same thing as being loved or respected. And when you've spent your life in the male gaze and feeling as though you're meant to be an object of desire, I think it really does require a lot of time alone and a lot of time with other women to start to actually decenter that idea. Cutting out the noise allowed me to reclaim my identity because I had to learn who I was without being consumed by someone else's lens. It was a detox from the need for someone else's internal validation. Those 3 years of abstinence and not dating was not at all lonely. It was actually the opposite. I felt as free as I've ever felt. And I now realize that my value isn't a commodity to be preferred. It's actually a sanctuary to be respected.
This is heartbreaking. The difference between being loved and being a category on a porn site. When she said, "We're so hungry to be seen that we don't realize we're being hunted," I felt that in my chest. That story about the guy in the Korean barbecue restaurant, that's not just a red flag. That is a neon sign screaming, "I don't see you as a human." He liked the aesthetic of her, not the soul of her. And the fact that she had to go celibate for 4 years just to deprogram herself from the male gaze, that shows how deep this damage goes. It's a terrifying reality for so many women. It's seeing people as objects. And when you see people as objects, it's really easy to discard them, even when they're carrying your child.
And you know what, while I'm in a little ranting mood this morning and I have some time, yesterday before I went to bed, I watched this video of this woman. It's like blown up, maybe you've seen it. She's talking about this man that she dated and how he sounds like an absolute narcissistic monster. She gets pregnant, he leaves her, tells her, "I'm not ready to be a father, our son will be better without me in his life," and then trips about how his son's last name isn't his last name. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you left, like, you don't, whatever. Can't stand, man. She talks about how it's so important still for her to have the father of her child be in her child's life, that like there was one day where he suddenly decided, actually I do want to hang out with him today. So she cancels all her plans, she calls out of work, she drives far to go meet him, and when she gets to the meeting place, she's like, "I'm here, where are you?" He's like, "Never mind, forget it." That's to hang out with his own son. This guy sounds like a monster. He then like 12 years later or 10 years later or something, like gets into a new relationship and tells his new partner that he does not have a son. The new partner reaches out to this girl, this woman, and is like, "Sorry, does he have a kid with you?" And she says that she does not respond, she doesn't get involved because she's just like, that's none of my business. He left me the second I was pregnant. He's never been in my son's life. Like, this is not my business. The comments on that video, I responded to one of them, but one of the top comments was, "Be a girl's girl. You should have told her." That's your takeaway from this video. I've made a video like this before where I get so angry when women get on the internet and talk about this shit, horrific men that they have tolerated, that they have allowed in their lives for too long, and the comments are like, well, why did you say? Well, why did you allow that? Well, you should have warned girls about him. I'm gonna start twitching. How do you listen to her tell the story of how horrific this man is and all you're concerned with is her actions and her behavior? The misogyny built into women, then exposed on this app, is something that has been such a learning, daunting experience for me. It's actually really sad. I mean, a lot of the comments I get that are hate comments on me are from women, and it's so sad that like it's so built into our brains to hate on other women. that girl is so young too. The girl, I think she was saying that she was like a teen parent when this all happened. Now she's probably like in her mid-20s or something, being brave, talking about how that's what she endured, and like it was so traumatizing and it was so horrific to be like young and pregnant, and suddenly he just leaves you and says, I'm not down anymore. He goes and he finds new lovers and partners and doesn't tell them that he fully has a son. You don't have to comment anything. If you are gonna comment something because you're so appalled and outraged, it better be because of the man. It better not be because you're finding fault with the way that she responded to the situation. You guys pissed me off.
My blood pressure just spiked. The audacity of the comment saying, "Be a girl's girl, you should have warned the new girlfriend." Are you kidding me? This man abandons his pregnant partner, says the kid is better off without me, and then years later pretends the child doesn't exist? He is the villain, period. Why are we holding the victim accountable for the villain's reputation? The misogyny is coming from inside the house. We focus so much on policing women's reactions that we completely ignore the absolute monstrosity of the man's actions. It's exhausting. With men like that running around, it's no wonder so many guys are claiming they aren't ready for commitment. But is that the whole truth?
I just saw a guy post a video about 5 reasons why everyone's single right now. And it was just, he hit all the points so perfectly. If I remember his name, I'll like drop his name or tag it in the comments. But there was one point he talked about in particular that I thought was so interesting that not a lot of people talk about why everyone is single. And it's actually something I've seen a lot, especially used kind of as an excuse for men. But I just thought this point was really interesting. Because the obvious reasons are, social media, dating apps, et cetera, has ruined dating, which we know this. Yes, that's true. But another point he made is that a lot of people, like older generations, when they met when they were like super poor, or like they didn't have to be like in a certain place in life in order to get into a relationship and get married. And now we see a lot of people today who use that as an excuse to not get into a relationship or not want something serious or not want marriage. They say that they need to do X, Y, and Z, or they need to make a certain amount of money in order to be in a relationship or feel comfortable to take something seriously. And I especially see this with men a lot, men that I've talked to, men that my girlfriends have talked to, even guy friends that I've talked to who are almost 30 and still not ready because they're not where they want to be in life, or they're not making a certain amount of money, or don't have that business that they've been wanting to start, which to a certain extent I get. Sometimes you do need to focus on yourself and you really just don't have time to bring another person into your life. But it gets to a certain point where I just feel like it's like, I'm sorry, but you're going to end up being single for the rest of your life. Like, I think that if you want a family, then prioritizing getting into a relationship is something that should be important to you, especially when you're in your late 20s. Because you're going to start running out of options. People are going to start getting into relationships and getting married, and your options become more and more limited the older you get. And one example I can think of is somebody that I know who is in their mid-30s already and is someone who is like posting and like reposting content about like having to like work on yourself, or like kings chase the crown and don't chase the queen, like that type of content. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but and this is a person that has said that like they do want to get married and have a family one day. And I'm like, you're already in your mid-30s and you're like consuming and liking this kind of content of like you still need to keep working on yourself and like achieve all these things, like just obviously like not prioritizing or like wanting to put any sort of effort into starting some sort of serious relationship. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand it, because to me, I think that you can always work on yourself and better yourself even while in a relationship. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, you're going to change and grow, but you're going to do that with somebody who is there to support you and be in your corner. And I think that whole aspect of a relationship is so cool. And like, I am someone who wants a family and kids. If you don't ever want a family and kids, and obviously it's not something you ever need to prioritize, but I don't know. It's just something I've seen time and time again with like guys, especially that like I've talked to, or just like guy friends of like, they're already in their late 20s or early 30s and they're still not ready to settle down because they're not in the certain place that they want to be in life. And like my parents, for example, they have been happily married for a long time and met when they were both super poor. And my mom just knew that my dad was a really hard worker, had a lot of ambition and drive in life, and wanted to grow with him, and they did together. My mom was able to become a stay-at-home mom because my dad now makes a lot of money, but he wasn't when they first met, and my mom was actually making more money than him when they first met. And yeah, I feel like we've like completely lost that. Like, I don't know, I think it's just really interesting. Like, I think our culture a lot really emphasizes this like self, like you need to like work on yourself and like self-improvement and self-growth. And it's like, yes, to a certain extent you do, and it is important, but it just gets to a certain point where it's like, if you're not going to put any sort of effort into trying to like meet people or get into like a serious relationship, and having a family and kids is something you want, it's like, then like, how are you going to get that? Like, I don't know. Does anybody else like feel this way or have experienced this? But it's really crazy to me, because I'm like, you're already like I'm like, dude, what do you mean you're not ready yet? Like, you're literally running out of time. Like, and I guess for women too, it's like women who like want kids maybe think about it more than guys who want kids. It's like, we do have like a biological clock in a sense. Guys don't really have to worry about that as much. So maybe that's like part of the reason too, but I don't know. I just find it so interesting. And yeah, it's like, you can still work on yourself while getting into a relationship. Like, I just don't understand.
She makes a really interesting point about the self-improvement trap. Yes, the economy is trash, and yes, it's hard to build a life. But this idea that you have to be a millionaire, have a six-pack, and be spiritually enlightened before you can date, it's a stall tactic. Our parents got married with $0 and a dream. Now, guys in their 30s are watching Alpha King content and thinking they can't have a girlfriend until they own a Bugatti. You can grow with someone. That's actually the best part. If you wait until you're perfect, you're going to be waiting forever. So, seeing all this, the ghosts, the fetishists, the eternal boys, some women are just deciding to opt out entirely.
I'm 30 years old and I couldn't be more uninterested in marriage and dating. I've done so much on my own that I'm genuinely unimpressed by the population of men that we have to date. I have not met one person that has made my life significantly easier, because I firmly believe that when you get into a partnership with a man, a woman never benefits. I did the move in with a guy thing, and I like daydreamed about it my entire life, and I didn't. I was like, ew, like this is literally like free labor and also like free ass work. The thing is, for me, I'm hyper independent. Like, I have literally lived in 5 different cities by the time I was 30, and I moved every single time by myself. I also bought a place when I was 25, a mortgage on my own. I know how to do electrical work. I know how to patch drywall. Like, as long as I have a YouTube video, I'm good. I own my own business. I set up an LLC. I'm literally doing all these things. And when a man is literally trying to pen pal with me just to be casual, like, it gives me the ick, because what the fuck? Like, what do you have to offer? Oh, you paid for my dinner? Oh, you paid for my drinks? You paid for my trip? Okay, like, I can do that myself. The appeal is not there. Unless a man is truly making my life significantly easier, I would rather be single than be in bad company.
I know how to patch drywall. That is the energy we are bringing. I love this. She looked at the dating pool, saw the pen pals, the casual indifference, and said, I can do bad all by myself. It's the ick she mentioned. When a man tries to offer you things you already have, but he comes with a headache attached. Why would you trade your peace for a man who subtracts from your life? It's not bitter. It's just simple math. The ROI on dating right now is in the negatives. But for those who haven't given up, some are turning to questionable strategies to get what they want.
Ladies, if you want to be that girl, and I mean that girl that's never getting ghosted, that girl that every man is chasing after, that girl that's never begging for the bare minimum, then listen to this, because I have the formula. It's not rocket science. I've been following a creator here on TikTok for the past few months and been following her guidelines for dating. And let me tell you, my life has changed. I'm going to link her in the description. Definitely go watch her videos because she's incredible. But I'm going to give a little summary of the things that she talks about and the things I've implemented in my life and how they have changed the dating game for me. First, as women, we respond to criticism. If my friend comes up to me and goes, Kelsey, I hate that sweater. That sweater does not look good on you. Guess what? I'm probably not wearing this sweater again, okay? Every time I look at this sweater, I'm like, ooh, I feel like that sweater probably doesn't look good on me. And so in return, that's the way that we try to enable change in men. If we go to a man and we don't like the shirt that he's wearing, we're like, ugh, I don't like that shirt on you. Guess what? That man is gonna wear that shirt every chance he gets, because that is how men respond to criticism. So next time a man upsets you, you know what we're not gonna do, ladies? We are not gonna send him a novel text message about why he hurt us, why what he did was wrong, because you know what? He knows. He knows. We live in this world where we think that he just doesn't get it. And if we spell it out for him point by point in this text message, he's gonna get it. No, he's gonna see that and he's gonna be annoyed. It's not gonna make him want to change the way that if a woman saw it, it might make us want to change our actions. Instead, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start taking our energy away. That's what men respond to. They respond to us withdrawing the energy that they want from us. For example, let's say you've been going on dates with Jason and they've been really fun. You really like Jason, but all of a sudden, Jason doesn't text you for a full week. Then all of a sudden, whoop, out of nowhere, Jason texts you, says, hey, wanna grab drinks tonight? We are not going to send Jason a text message this long about how he hurt us, how it was disrespectful that he just didn't speak to us for a week and then just expects us to just go and hang out with him. No, because you know what? Jason knows. Deep in Jason's core, he knows that it's disrespectful to do that to somebody. We're gonna say, oh, what's up, Jason? I wish you would have asked me earlier. I actually already have plans tonight. And it does not matter what those plans are. Actually, the plan should be as boring as possible because you want Jason to know that he's not even worth more than your most boring plans. I can literally say, oh, sorry, I actually just plan to water my plants tonight. It doesn't have to be a very exciting plan. You're just showing Jason that you're not the type of girl that he can just not text for a week and then text out of nowhere and you're just gonna get up and go on a date with him. Because we're also not doing that. Because if you just say, oh, yeah, Jason, or for sure, let's go on this date. You're actually just showing him that you're willing to do that you are the type of girl that he can text last minute and you'll go on the date. Because in men's heads, they're logical. They like to put the least amount of effort into something to get the result they want. And if he knows that he can not text you for a week and then hit you up and you're willing to just go, then that's what he's gonna do. You're allowing that behavior. And if you want that kind of relationship, fine, go on the date. But if you wanna be the type of girl that he's planning dates with, that he's putting effort and energy into, you're gonna say no. You're gonna say, sorry, gotta water my plants tonight, Jason. Wish you would have asked me sooner because tonight's already booked for me. So instead of calling Jason out in a really long text or just giving in to whatever Jason wants, you're simply taking away the energy, the result he wants. He's realized that he likes you. He likes spending time with you. He thinks you're a great girl. But if he wants to get that attention and that energy from you, he needs to act accordingly. Margarita, the creator that I'm tagging, always says that you should be a type of woman that's hard to get, but easy to be with. Meaning, don't just go on the date with Jason, okay? Jason has to earn that date. If he acts accordingly, then he gets your time and energy. But also when he's with you, be fun. Be a fun girl to be with, okay? Because you know what happens if you start sending these long text messages? You become his mother, okay? Do you want to be his mother? No, I don't want to be a man's mother. I want to be a man's girlfriend, okay? I don't want to be his mother. But when you start chewing him out over text messages, that's what you're becoming. You're becoming his mother. Mothers teach their sons by chewing them out. Women teach the men that they are dating by removing their feminine energy from the man, because that's what that man wants. He wants your time and your attention to have fun with you and all of these things. If he's not acting accordingly, that's what we're taking away. We don't want to chew him out because we're not his mom. We don't want to be in a relationship with a man where we are his mother, because you can chew this man out as much as you want. It's only going to build resentment and you're not going to get that relationship dynamic that you crave. You're going to become his mother. And you know what? If you take away that feminine energy and he's still not acting accordingly, he's not the man you want to be. Okay, boop, bye. Bye. You are that girl. Always remember, you are that girl. You're always going to be that girl. And if he doesn't see that, guess what? There's men that will. Our feminine energy is our power. It can unlock anything we want. It is so powerful, and it's time that we utilize it. As a girl that is so emotionally reactive to my core, I know how hard it is to just take a step back, let the man choose his actions, and then I will react with my actions based on his choices. Having a big emotional reaction to his actions, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to get you the outcome that you want. Silence can be so powerful. Let a man want you to talk. Make a man miss you. Don't text him back right away. If he isn't acting the way you want him to act, let him sit on it. Let him marinate on it. Let him realize that if he's going to act that way, he's not going to get the response he wants from you. Work on you. Work on bettering yourself. Work on getting your own hobbies, your own things to do. Don't focus on when this man is going to text you back. If you're sitting around thinking, Jason hasn't responded to me in 3-4 days. No. Okay? You're already not being that girl because you're letting a man who isn't treating you right take up your brain space, okay? Your brain space needs to be taken up with things that you're doing to better yourself. Going to workout classes, picking up a hobby, hanging out with your friends. So that when Jason does text you, you're not like, oh my gosh, Jason, he texted me finally. You're like, oh, Jason, wow, he didn't text me in days. That's like kind of weird of him. What an L for him because I'm a great girl and he just could have been talking to me and he hasn't been. Ew. Gross. Your energy and your time is your power. If you're sending these long text messages, you are giving your energy, and that's not what we want. We want to give no energy to bad behavior. Some of y'all might not agree with me, but I'm just saying that in the last few months when I've started using this, I have completely seen a shift in the way that I've been dating and the way that men treat me. And I've had way more success when men realize that the only way they're gonna get my time, my attention, and my energy is by acting accordingly. They do. They really do.
Okay, so we're treating men like toddlers now. Don't critique the sweater, just take it away. Look, I get the theory. Actions speak louder than words, but this level of 4D chess is exhausting. I'm watering my plants, Jason. It's funny, but it's also sad that we have to strategize our feminine energy just to get a text back. If you have to manipulate someone into respecting you, is that respect? Or is it just training? I don't want to be a mother, but I also don't want to be a dog trainer. Can we just communicate? Or you skip the training phase entirely and go for someone who's supposedly already trained.
Younger women don't just date older men for their money. I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. And people are always asking, what is it about an older man? What do you like about an older man? And I'm here to tell you. They usually have more traditional values and roles, and so chivalry is real. They make women feel special and loved and adored in a way that I personally have never seen a guy my age or even 5 years older do. Hopefully they are already established. If they're like 20 years older than me, I would at least hope that they are established in life. And so yes, usually they are, and so that is attractive. And before you jump down my throat and say I'm a gold digger, it's not about that. It's sexy when a man is motivated, driven, successful, when he has his shit together. I think it's really sexy when a guy has his house, car or cars even, and he already has his life. Like he has his routine. You know, he gets up, he goes to work, he works out early, he's up early. I just love a guy that cooks for himself. A guy that I don't have to take care of. It's so attractive when a guy wants to take care of me. An older man can hit all of my love languages in ways that younger men just haven't in my experience. I'm attracted to a man that leads and I don't have to train and teach how to act. I've done that my whole life with guys in relationships and it's exhausting and I'm done. I truly just have no desire to do it anymore. I don't want to have to mold someone. I just want someone who is already who they are and established in who they are and knows who they are and knows what they want. I'm not trying to deal with someone who's trying to find their way still. Usually the older, the more experience they have in relationships, which means trial and error. They've already overcome mistakes. They've gone through failed relationships and they kind of learn what they should do or shouldn't do this time. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everybody, but most of the time, men have had several relationships the older they get. I personally love a divorced man with kids because he's already been through it. He already knows. It's not his first rodeo. Usually the older, the more emotionally intelligent they are, and that is hands down the most important thing in a relationship to me. At this stage of my life, again, we all change, but I'm at a point now where I care more about emotional intelligence than looks, than money, than anything. I'm also looking to find the man of my children, father of my children. And so if he already has children, usually he knows how to act around kids. He knows how to adjust life to being a dad. Personally, I think it's better to date a guy who already has experienced children because you already know right off the bat how he is as a dad and if he's a good dad or not. When you're having someone's first child, you have no idea how that person's going to be as a parent. So if you've already seen him and dated him for a while, you see how he is to his children, it's just a good way to interview them to see if they are going to be a good dad to your children. And now let's get to the fun stuff, like how the fact that older men just love to be down there way longer and way more often than any guy my age or even 5 years older. They just, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but especially if you're a younger woman, they literally worship your body. I'm not even kidding. But this is like specifically men like over 50. I'm telling you, they are givers. And honestly, most guys my age, they're just receivers. They just want to lay back and receive. And I'm telling you, I feel like the older generations are more dominant, more alpha, more masculine. And these younger generation of guys are just more feminine.
All right, she went there. She went straight to the enthusiasm of the older generation. Listen, a valid point. If the younger guys are playing games and receiving, I can see the appeal of a man who knows what he's doing and pays the mortgage. It's the done-for-you service of dating. But let's be real. A 50-year-old divorced man comes with his own baggage. It's just packed in Louis Vuitton instead of a plastic bag. But hey, if he's fixing the car and doing that other stuff, I guess I see the vision. When we look at all these stories together, from the high school hallway to the divorced dad market, a really disturbing picture starts to form. We aren't treating each other like people anymore. We're treating each other like products on a shelf. Think about the guy with the list, the Emma Watson guy. He's not looking for a partner. He's looking for a spec sheet. He wants a custom build. And then think about the girl who got blocked instantly on Instagram. She was returned to the shelf because the packaging wasn't quite right. We have commodified connection to the point where disposable is the default setting. The ghosting, the blocking, the I'm not ready until I'm rich mentality, it all stems from the idea that there is always something better, newer, or more optimized, just one swipe away. We saw this in the Asian fetish story, which was perhaps the darkest layer of this lasagna. That wasn't love. That was consumption. He was consuming her culture, her aesthetic, and her body to fulfill a fantasy. And on the flip side, we have women feeling like they have to train men or withdraw their energy just to be treated with basic human decency. It's a constant power struggle where everyone is trying to extract value while giving up as little of themselves as possible. The tragedy is that the independent woman who learned to patch her own drywall is actually the most rational response to this market. If the cost of entry into a relationship is traumatization, mind games, or being treated like a prop, then opting out isn't bitter, it's self-preservation. We've created a dating culture that punishes vulnerability and rewards apathy. The cool girl who doesn't care gets the guy, while the girl who communicates her feelings gets labeled mother. But here's the kicker. You can't efficiency hack intimacy. You can't ROI your way to love. The messiness, the risk, the fact that someone might not be ready, that is the work. We are so terrified of the bad deal that we're missing out on the human deal. So I guess the question is, are we actually looking for partners, or are we just looking for mirrors that make us look good? Tell me in the comments, have you reached the patching your own drywall stage of giving up, or are you still out there watering your plants and waiting for Jason to text back? I'll see you in the next one.